Hello, this is 𝐃𝐞𝐬𝐥. Welcome to a special podcast series straight from Expo Real. Today's guest is Małgorzata Dankowska, Managing Partner at Koda. Hello, Małgosiu.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me today.
How did you approach this year's Expo and what are your expectations?
Well, I must admit I'm quite optimistic this year. So the transaction market is in a different place comparing to the last year. And I'm keen to see and to learn how investor appetite for the Polish real estate market is evolving, especially following the recent interest rate cuts, not only in EU, but also in Poland. So we do have the increased attractiveness and availability of the debt financing. And I look forward to gaining insight how it will influence the investment models.
Koda is a relatively new company on the Polish market, but founded by experienced experts well known in the industry. Could you briefly describe what Koda does?
Certainly, it's of course always a pleasure to talk about your own business, but basically Koda was founded as a response to the strategic tax and accounting advisory needs of the commercial real estate market. As a boutique firm, we position ourselves by offering hands-on advisory, process-driven accounting, but we do combine it with the business perspective that helps our clients to cut through all the tax and financing and financial intricacies on the Polish market. So we believe that it all allows them to focus on their core business and to accelerate growth in their real estate transactions. On the service line sides, we do support our clients throughout the entire product life cycles. So we advise them with the structuring, the transactional advisory, due diligence, ongoing accounting and payroll processes, and we go up to the investment exit strategies. So our motto is making business easier. We really try to deliver that.
Let's talk about the Polish investment market. Are asset deals or share deals currently possible?
Yes, they are. So Poland is actually both asset and share deal market, but obviously each of the option triggers a different tax implication. So choice depends on the investor strategy as well as on their tax and negotiation position. But understanding these differences is key to future-proofing their own strategies. And we do help our clients just to understand that and pick the option that is the best for them.
A letter of intent is a fundamental milestone in every transaction, as we know. Of course, each LOI looks different, but there is a set of provisions that should be included in almost every document. Which of these are the most important for you?
Well, LOI should basically define the key terms of the transaction. So apart from the basis for the purchase price or the condition precedents to closings or exclusivity periods and so on, it should also cover the topics that are tax-driven or tax-related, especially when it comes to any tax sharing options or reduction of the price with the latent capital gain tax. So in the end of the day, it should be composed in the way that it protects the parties' interests together with positioning them as strong negotiators in the whole transaction.
What are the main limitations regarding project financing in Poland, and what is the biggest challenge when it comes to interest deductions?
Well, when it comes to the financing structuring, it's always the case that we are approached and addressed by the international investors by that. The good news for them is that we do not have in Poland the typical thin capitalization restrictions, meaning that you can inject the debt financing into the company independent on the level of the equity. So there are no strict rules on that. But on the other hand, we have implemented the EU directives in quite strict way. So we do have earnings tripping rules that limit the tax deductibility of the debt financing costs. So in the end, it's quite important to structure in a way that on one hand, it allows you to be flexible in terms of the profit distribution, but on the other, just to optimize your business results.
However, Poland is considered a country with a rather complicated tax system. In your opinion, what instruments best hedge tax risk?
Well, we do have a bit of complexity indeed, but on the other hand, we have a range of different tax instruments to allow you to manage the tax risk. We can start off the very popular and common on the real estate market tax rulings, safeguarding the VAT positions and the VAT in the asset deal transactions. We do have binding rate information that also safeguard the VAT rates that are very commonly used in the PRS and PBSA sector. We have a range of opinions, motions, correspondence, and certificates that are also being applied to cut off a different risk. So I would say that indeed complexity is there, but there is also a range of tools to manage that.
A question that is undoubtedly on the minds of many investors, not only foreign ones. Can real estate in Poland be purchased directly through a foreign vehicle?
It is possible indeed, and I must admit that judging by our experience, it's more and more common these days. It involves a bit more tax considerations and compliance obligation, but the strategic structuring is required again to cut through the noise of different complex regulations and ensure the full compliance. But on the other hand, it may facilitate the structuring for the foreign investors.
Finally, I'd like to ask you for a brief market forecast for the coming months. How do you think the investment market will behave, and is it worth investing in commercial real estate in Poland?
I do believe that currently the market is positioned for growth, and this is supported not only by the good microeconomics fundamentals, but I believe that also good proof is recovering transaction volume when we compare Q2 2025 to the last year or 2023. It's obviously increasing. We do see the increasing investor confidence, so we expect that it's going to be continued tractions in different segments, not necessarily only opportunistic, but also core and value add. And the reduction of the interest rate is also expected to further future-proof the whole market.
Thank you very much for the interview, and I wish you fruitful discussions and appointments here in Munich.
Thank you very much.